What's up, guys? We got a special episode today because we're coming live from the 4th of July, the
Go,
holiday of our independence.
go America.
America's
Yeah,
Day, baby.
it's the big celebration, the one that we go out at night, we see the lights in the sky, and that's why I'm so fired up about this first issue. Have you guys noticed all the people complaining about fireworks?
Yes.
It's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous, right? I remember like growing up, as a kid, like you used to be able to go down to like the firework tents that they'd set up like outside gas stations and stuff like that. And it would just be like the little ground ones. It wouldn't be the giant mortar professional fireworks or anything. But that was like one of my favorite memories as a kid is, coming home 4th of July, lighting those things off. It's cool to like, I don't know, I started off like as a pyromaniac when I was a kid. So I like the fire and explosions. But I feel bad because nowadays kids, they don't get to do that. Like it's not even a opportunity that they have. You not only can you not light them off, there's nowhere to buy these things unless you drive to a different state.
So, if you were to talk to my father about this, I already know what he would say. This is their way to take away your drive and pride in being an American. You're supposed to be celebrating this holiday with fireworks and joy and all this stuff, and they're trying to take it away to where there's no day to celebrate America or being American.
But why would you want to take that away? I don't get why. It doesn't make sense, right? Because the two things that you hear, um, when people complain about fireworks is one, it starts fires. Two, people get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people getting hurt. I I don't know how to say this right, but I don't really care. Like as long as you're not hurting someone else, I mean it's your own fault if you're holding a firework in your hand and it blows up, right?
Which I have had happen to me actually. If I
Did you have
may.
like a little black cat?
Yep, we were trying to scare one of my buddies. We was all coming to hang out at my house that night, and we was gonna throw firework and then run around the corner with ketchup on my hand, going, "Oh my god, oh my god!" Well, he never showed up. So the next day, we went up on. There's these like sand rocks by my house. My house growing up. I know Zach has seen it, but I don't know if you remember him, Jake. And
Yeah.
so we were playing around up there, and my buddy couldn't get it to light. He couldn't get it to light. So I'm like, what an idiot. Give me that thing. And I start trying to light it, and boom, blows up. I'm immediately in shock. So I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. So I find there's this little puddle of water in one of the rocks. I wash my hand in it, which if you look at now is probably the grossest thing you could have done to that thing. I'm thinking I'm cleaning it out, and there's bacteria like crazy in there.
Made the infection 3 times worse.
Yeah. But it ended up nothing was lost. They just had to peel some skin back, clean it out real good, and
So
bandage me up. And
you go to the doctor for that, or do your parents clean it up?
well, first I ran to my sister, which is weird, but then they drove me to the hospital, and I had the hospital take care of it correctly.
No,
But-
like another one of these dumb kids
Jason
blowing his
Pierre-Paul
hand
there
off.
too, or no?
Yeah, well, when that happened, I think it happened like 2 or 3 years before the Jason Pierre-Paul thing. So I mean, I was counting my lucky stars when I heard that story.
Oh, yeah.
But
You should be the new
so
spokesman.
yeah. So the town 45 minutes to the east of us, Steamboat Springs, they actually quit doing fireworks altogether. They're not doing them anymore. They
Doing,
have
like the
they
winter carnival.
what's that?
Are they gonna quit doing them for the winter carnival too?
Yeah, they're done doing them, I think. So they're known to have the biggest firework that's ever been set off, and now they're done doing it because their claim is it's messing with pets, messing with wildlife, and messing with veterans. But
So it's their professional fireworks they canceled.
yep.
They would do like a
Yep.
show every year. Yeah, they do
So
that
for
around
the-
here too. And I saw on the news last night actually in Gypsum they did a drone show instead. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about is all these people complaining about fireworks are saying we should replace fireworks with drone shows. And I just want to say, in my opinion, drone shows are not cool. I mean, like they look cool when you look at them in the sky, and then it's like, all right. after a couple minutes of that, you're like, that was cool. I'm bored now. The fun thing about fireworks, I always thought, is you're literally shooting something into the air and then blowing it up. Like, I like that feeling of your chest bursting when the firework blows up. You
Feeling the
can't get that
heat
with
in your
drones.
face.
Yeah, the ashes falling down on your head.
The feeling of running away from it after you light it, like, oh no!
Yeah, I guess you get that adrenaline. Maybe that's what I had when I was young.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
explain to me what a drone show is. I guess I don't know what that is.
So they get like an array of drones, probably 100 or so. They put them all on the ground, and they're all programmed so they can each tell where the drone next to them is, so they don't crash in midair. And then they can actually program them to make designs in the sky.
So we're just gonna have like hundreds of drones in every town for the 4th of July. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. Let me see if I can pull up a video here. If you guys can
I mean, I'm
keep
all
talking
for
about
it on like July 3rd, July 5th, any other day of the year, but not the 4th of July.
I just it's weird to me to think of that many drones in
Mhm.
every town around the country.
Well, you know, like some podunk towns are not going to know how to run a drone show.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hire somebody just to run the drones. I don't know. I think fireworks are awesome.
To piggyback on that point, just driving around here in Texas, even like the fireworks stands that were here last year, not as many this year, slightly less. I know there is some concern with like the fire ban because we hasn't had much rain lately, but still the stores are a little less than last year.
It's so amazing to me how it's just such a different world right now because, Craig's been in the fire ban the past 2-3 years, but this year we have so much water. It's ridiculous.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah, I like it. I get to go camp and have a fire now.
That's really nice, having a fire when you're camping. It's not even
Yep.
camping if you can't have a fire.
No. What else are you going to do?
So I don't know if you
Bed
guys
early,
can
man.
see this on the screen here because it's kind of blurry on our recording screen, but they basically have hundreds of drones in the air, and they're lighting them up to make those designs like that. It's
Which,
like
I mean,
it
it looks cool, but I feel like that's probably like more of a... Didn't they do that at the Super Bowl maybe? The halftime show?
Done it at the Olympics. I'm not sure. I think they have done it at the Super Bowl, a couple of years ago.
And it's a cool like thing. I just don't think it really replaces good old fashioned fireworks.
Don't get me wrong. Like I think there's going to be room for drone shows, but like you're saying, I don't think it's going to replace fireworks, or I don't think it should replace fireworks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. They're cool. Maybe like on Christmas or something, I go outside, they do it. I'd be okay with that, but not today. Not the 4th.
Yeah.
I definitely think that like drone shows is going to be like the future of advertising too. You know how they have the planes that fly around when you're at the baseball stadium and stuff? They're definitely going to have drones that are going to be like projecting like LED board signs in the air pretty soon here.
So if they get rid of fireworks, what part of that song, the bombs bursting in air?
Just like you said, they're trying to take away America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rewrite history, man.
Jesus. I'd just stick to good old fashioned fireworks and I'd be a happy man.
Yeah, I will say that I know last week I talked about the Avs winning and they let off a bunch of fireworks in the backyard, and that's when I went down to calm the dog down and kind of took care of me a little bit. But we're good now. He just gets upset with those fireworks, and I get that. I get that pets and veterans get upset at that stuff, but if it's once or twice a year, I don't think it's that bad. It'd be different if you were lighting off fireworks every night and bothering your neighbors and stuff.
Well, and yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's nothing in this world that's going to be able to please everybody. Somebody's always going to have a problem with one thing or another.
Right.
Hey, what? Jesus was a pretty good dude, and they still killed him. So you can't please everyone. Can't make everyone happy.
So has your dog always been like that with fireworks?
No, I mean he goes and hides like a lot of dogs do. Like he'll go under the bed or he'll go back in a corner or whatever. Past 2 nights, I've had to take him down to the basement just because it's a little more quiet.
Yeah.
He usually goes back in a corner. I just cover him with a blanket. But he's pretty old now. He's like a 16-year-old dog, so he doesn't really like shake or do much of
Anything
that
like
stuff.
that.
He can. His hearing's really not that great either, so I think it's mostly him feeling the big vibrations.
I've never had a dog around me that was like afraid of fireworks, but that's probably because I've always surrounded myself with like hunting dogs, and they're used to having shotguns blowing off right next to them.
I'm sure you've seen dogs though. They're like afraid of thunder and stuff. I mean, they make those
I haven't.
jack dogs. Oh, really? I've definitely been around those dogs, and maybe it's because I've just been around smaller dogs that aren't hunting dogs. They're like the ones that girls just carry around in their purse.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thanks for sitting through my rant on fireworks, guys.
Nope, I think we can all agree on that.
It's the 4th of July, so something had to be said. I don't want this holiday to go down the drain.
It's probably one of the best holidays we have. Next to Thanksgiving. I mean, Thanksgiving's the number one. You get to eat tons of food. Of course, you get to eat tons of barbecue on 4th of July.
It's true.
That's true.
Grilling up some ribs tonight.
I got the smoker on right now.
What are you grilling?
What was that?
What are you smoking, Zach?
Oh, I got some burgers and chicken on there right now.
He's smoking that good stuff.
Good.
I ain't in Colorado right now, right?
No, I'm gonna roast up a roast tomorrow. I think on the Traeger.
Roast.
A roast.
Nice.
Yep.
I mean, that's part of the holiday. Grilling.
What is your favorite thing to grill?
For me, probably like a beer butt chicken. I think it's probably my favorite thing to cook.
I have not done that yet.
Mm-hmm. When I first did it, I made like this little like tin foil like cup to hold the beer in and put the chicken over. Came back, tipped over, beers all over the grill, fucking just so dirty. So I finally bought a little thing that holds it, and you can put like the chicken on top. And it cooks a little better that way. But yeah, I think that's my favorite thing.
Nice. I'm gonna have to try that now.
What's your guys' favorite thing?
I really like doing I like slow cooking ribs on the grill, getting that nice tender fall off the bone stuff. But I also like steak. The past few times I've been grilling, I actually sous-vide some stuff. Tri-tip in my Instapot for a couple hours. Took it out of the bag, threw it on the grill. Or not even on the grill, I just put it in a cast iron pan and seared it up. And it was like prime rib. It was so good.
Dang.
So my favorite thing is it's like a shish kebab, but it's not a shish kebab because you don't put it on the stick. You take everything you'd put on there and put it in this like pan that has holes in it. So, oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah, grilled veggies are underrated.
Yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Grilled pineapple is underrated.
Grilled pineapple.
You like pineapple?
I'm a mushroom.
Oh, I love pineapple.
Do you get Hawaiian pizza?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
So pineapple does go on pizza for you.
Absolutely.
Nice.
That's
the best kind of
only
pizza.
kind of pizza it goes on, though. I don't know what else you can combine pineapple with on a pizza that would taste good.
I don't know. My favorite hamburger has turned into Swiss cheese or something like that, and then you put a pineapple on there and then put some teriyaki sauce on there. Oh my goodness.
This guy, he's starting new cultures.
Got out of Craig for a day, and now I know all this weird stuff.
Pineapple on a burger. Who are you, man?
Who the hell? Yep.
So Zach, did you go to the parade last week?
I did, yeah. Woke up, flew in to Denver Thursday night. Now wait, Wednesday night. Got picked up at the airport midnight. Got back to the hotel 1 a.m-ish. Woke up at 6. To my family listening to this, sorry they have to hear this, but I started drinking some mimosas around 6:15 a.m.
Hey, at least the family listens.
Touche.
Support.
Now we weren't sure how like security was gonna be. We weren't sure if we could like open like drink, there. So we had a couple Pink Whitney
Man,
bottles
that's a new drink.
You and your
just for
Pink
hockey
Whitney.
season. Just for the hockey season.
I've never even heard of it.
I haven't either.
Damn. So yeah, we had those kind of tucked away on the person, and then we had some Starbucks cups that we just would fill with high noons, and we just walked down there, walked to the parade. Pretty good time, man. As rocked as I was, I will say the players were twice as rocked.
Yeah.
They were having a good time. Medlock Cool Avs fans, it's cool to see everyone out. Good to see the win. We all sang all the small things together at the very end. Wish you guys could have been there.
Were you anywhere near when they tried to keep Bo Byram from joining back on the parade?
I did not see it. We were kind of up towards the front, but we did see Bo Byram and the name's spacing me, Alex Newhook, kind of running the streets. Everyone else was up in the fire truck. So I have a newfound love for those two players. Just down there on the streets, shaking hands,
Man of the people.
I did see a video of Gabriel Landeskog come down, chug some Pink Whitney with some fans. I wish to say that was me, but it wasn't.
This Pink Whitney is just really throwing me off in this whole story.
I'm going to have to go try it now.
Yeah, I don't even... Is it beer?
Nah, it's like pink lemonade flavored like vodka.
So it's like a high noon sort of thing?
This is vodka.
Just straight vodka?
Just like pink lemonade flavored.
Sounds like a dangerous thing to be drinking on the streets.
Definitely shouldn't be drinking that on the streets.
I think we lost Mason. I'm going to pause down here for a second.
That works.
So what I was meaning to ask you before I got so rudely cut off by my computer stopping to work.
What do you mean you got kicked?
Yeah.
You got the boot, man.
They got the boot. What did you enjoy more, the game 2 or the parade?
Oh, man. Game 2, I told myself I'm going in there sober. I want to, experience it. I just want to live it. I spent a good chunk of money on it. I really want to just absorb it, experience it. The parade, man, I just want to be a part of it. So drinking from 6 to, midnight that day. It was a good time. I think I'm going to have to still go with the game, though. So 7-0 shutout is pretty special.
Yeah.
Would you go back to the parade again if they won?
Yep, I won't miss that again.
Really?
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I always told myself that I probably never go to something like that, but I guess maybe it's good.
We'll go when the Rockies win.
Yeah. Buddy, I'm not going to a parade at 80, all right?
80?
I'll see y'all there.
That's optimistic.
Well, optimistic, but that's probably what that doctor's swab test thing you got's going to tell me I'm aged at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see what I'm aged at. So I got this little kit here. I don't know if any of you people watching here have ever seen Joe Rogan, but he has this guy, David Sinclair, on about once a year. And he's just recently came up with this test from his company, Tally Health. And what you do is you swab the inside of your cheek, or you swab both of your cheeks once. There's 2 swabs in there, and you stick them in a vial and swirl them around in there and close the vial and mail it back. And they tell you what your biological age is. So up until this point, we've measured our age just based on how much time we've been alive. But this test is kind of almost like the opposite of that. It's like, how much time do you have left based on what your actual biological age is. So basically I swab my cheeks, and it's going to tell me how old I am actually. So I could be older or younger than my actual age. So do we want to take guesses on what my age is going to come back as?
Can we clarify what cheeks we're talking about?
Yeah, he's swabbing them cheeks.
I said both.
Jake, so you are 28 years old, correct? Or are you 29?
28.
28. I bet you your biological age, or whatever you want to call that test, puts you at 37.
37's old, man.
Damn,
I don't know.
I'm gonna go. Let's see. I knew Jake in college, so I know he aged a bit there. We're gonna go 32.
I would be
Right.
willing. I'd be willing to bet mine would be in the 40 range.
So we got my two friends here saying that I'm old and gonna die soon. So what's gonna happen is sometime this week I'm just gonna take this test. I'm just gonna film it on my phone, and then next week on the podcast we'll play the video of me taking the test, and then we'll see. I'll send it in. We'll wait till we get some results back. Should we have like a who got closer challenge?
Yeah, let's put some wager on it.
Should I guess too? How old I am?
Yeah.
Hey guys, so we ran into some technical difficulties while we were recording this part of the episode. So I want to just recap what we talked about here. We were making a wager. Who's going to guess my age the closest? Mason said my age is going to be 37. Zach said my age is going to be 32. And at the end, my age got cut off, but I guessed 30. So whoever wins this wager is going to get sent a bottle of Pink Whitney to their house. And now, back to the show.
So another big event this weekend, UFC 276, brought to us two big championship belts, both won by the reigning champs. But talking last podcast, I know Jake really wants to start getting into this sport. I know we watched this fight, so I just want to hear his big thoughts, big takeaways on one of his first UFC fights watching legitly.
Yeah, man. So I've watched like a handful of UFC fights in the past, and I think the very first one I kind of seriously started watching and was 250, and I think that was Cowboy versus Connor.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was really good. It definitely kept me entertained the entire time. I think maybe because there was two championship fights in this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, I think the fight I enjoyed the most, there was this guy in red trunks, and he had kind of this like black mohawk. He was just absolutely getting wrecked the first round of this thing, but he came back in the second round and won, and I was pretty blown away by that. I don't remember what the guy's name was. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah, Brian Barberena. He defeated Robbie Lawler and TKO in the second round.
Yeah, that was impressive to me because I didn't think he had a chance after watching that first round with him. He was taking a lot of shots to the face.
Yeah, no, watching that first round looked all Robbie. And Robbie's a 20-year vet in the UFC, been there for a while. And yeah, he got caught in the second, and the right guy won.
Yep. But that just goes to show, I mean, from somebody who kind of somewhat follows the sport, but not intensely, you know who Robbie Lawler is. I had no idea who Brian Barberena was before this fight. So a lot of times them guys will take a big name fight just to get their name put out there so everybody knows their name because they're like, oh my God, he beat Robbie Lawler? That's insane.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is one of those kind of like almost come to age moments, for lack of a better term. Like UFC is kind of famous for putting the older fighters out in the pasture, and they let the young guy come and just get a name built off of him. Whether Barberena does anything future with his career, still a good highlight reel.
I thought the most impressive guy on that fight card was probably that Turner. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Sorry, you cut out right when you said so-and-so.
Turner was his last name.
Turner. Jalen Turner beating up Brad Riddell.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that one was a pretty good one. I believe it was a guillotine choke, if I remember.
Yep.
Talk me through why you like that one.
Is that on the prelims?
That might have been the prelims, yeah.
Prelims, yeah, last fight of the prelims.
I don't think anyone got taken down on the main card, right?
No, actually, that they were talking about that during the fight. I think they said there was 0 takedowns on the entire main card, which is insane. But, I mean, when you look at the card, these guys are stand-up fighters, every one of them, really.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on, what is it, Pereira?
Yeah, Alex Pereira. Yeah, I know this guy has a lot of hype behind him. Defeating Izzy twice back in their kickboxing days. One of them was like a split decision win. The other, I think, being a actual knockout. Um, Izzy's kind of had that division in his vices for a while. He's making laps, beat Robert Whitaker twice, starting to just kind of own the division. So I think that's the right fight to make. Bring up someone who's beat him historically at his game. And honestly, before this fight, I wasn't so sure how he's going to fare. Yeah, I know he's had a couple wins in the UFC. He knocked out Sean Strickland, and he's no joke. So I think this guy holds his own in the division. Whether or not he can get the belt from Izzy, we shall see. But I think the guy's real.
I think it's something that Izzy needs too, because if you go back and look at his most recent fights, I mean, there's just nothing going on. He's just, I don't know, picking people apart. And it's, I mean, while he's a good fighter, it's not very entertaining to watch. So I think it's hurting his legacy almost, because people are starting to want to see him lose and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I
So
think with,
I have kind of a question for you guys. How do you learn these guys' names? So I'm new to this sport. I obviously don't really know anybody. You guys are talking about like the big matchups that happen in this sport, but I don't
Mm.
I don't know how you learn the names to know what the big matchups are.
I think one like once you know who's like the top five in the division, they become household names, so to speak. Like you know who all the belt holders are, and then like that. And you can kind of just build from there. Early on, I used to be obsessed with the UFC rankings on their website. I would just be like looking, I'm like, all right, Izzy just won this fight. Who's next? I kind of like glance at the top 10, and names just kind of start to get familiar. Kind of like with the guy you liked. I can't think of his name right now. You'll probably see him again next time he fights and be like, oh, I kind of remember that guy. And then the name will kind of stick with you. And just more exposure.
yeah, I think the more flashy they are, the better they do on the time that they have on the undercard, makes you kind of remember their name for when they making their way up the division as well.
Well, speaking of flashy, isn't Volk your guy?
Volk is my guy, and he is not necessarily flashy, but he is insane. Like
Yeah.
he has that. It looks like he's starting the fight fresh throughout the entire fight. Like you
Oh
just can't
yeah.
wear him down.
He didn't look worn down at the end of it. It was
No,
impressive.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And I will say, last week I said sometimes you can tell when those guys run out of the tunnel. They'll just be like a little cocky or whatever it is. Um, I mean, you saw it with the Undertaker hat too.
oh,
um,
that was a hell of a walkout.
but I just mean I don't. I usually those guys kind of turn me away from rooting for them, just because it's like you're being too showboaty. You're being too flashy. I don't know if um, you've actually spent enough time working on this, or if you're just spending your time working on these mind games. But I'll say that Volk looked 100% legit in that fight.
Oh yeah, and I mean, a lot of times I think of it as like they are so confident in their ability. So Izzy comes out with an urn with his opponent's name on it, and he's an Undertaker, and I mean, he's got his fingernails glistening, and you're thinking, oh my god, he better win this fight, because if he does all this and then loses. So sometimes
Right.
I think it just shows how absolutely confident in themselves they are.
Yeah, I think to be at that level, you have to you don't go in that cage thinking, well, I might lose. I think those guys, they know they're gonna win. I think why some of them lose too. I think that's why some of them have a hard time recovering from that loss, because they knew they were gonna win, and then like something happens. But to Izzy's point, he backed it up. Not the most entertaining fight, but he got it
And
done.
if you were ever going to bet on a UFC fight, always bet for Volkanovski. Never bet against him.
Don't bet against him. So after his performance, it kind of got me thinking: where does he rank in your guys' all-time fighters? I know, Jake, you don't have to really answer this one,
Yeah,
being
he's
new to the
probably
sport.
out of the ones I saw, he's probably up there.
Oh boy, that is tough all time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm fairly new to UFC, so it's hard for me to classify some of the older fighters up there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably going to sound weird, but for me, he's definitely top five for sure. And
Okay.
for me, right now, I have him as the second best pound for pound fighter behind Usman. Still,
Okay.
I'm going to have to see somebody make me feel like Usman has a chance at losing before
Mm-hmm.
I put Volkanovski over him. But Volkanovski is going to become a two division weight champ here soon.
Yeah.
He's calling him out.
So let's say he goes up to the 155 belt, wins it. He over Usman pound for pound.
Probably, I would say,
Okay.
especially if he wins it as convincing as he's been winning
As he has been.
these ones. Yep.
All right. Fair enough.
If he squeaks by to get that belt, I'd probably leave
Mhm.
Usman over him.
Okay. All right.
What about yourself? You got a little bit more history with
Yeah.
it.
So I've been kind of debating on this, shower thoughts. I probably at around 6 or 7 all time, in any order you want to put them in. We got Anderson Silva, John Jones, GSP. I'm going to put Khabib in the mix. I'd have to think Kamaru Usman's probably up there. Daniel Cormier's in the mix. I think Volk's kind of right in that same mix, though.
You're on board with that?
Mm-hmm. But we shall see. Speaking of 155, though, there's a little bit of a scruffle in the crowds that took on. I'm not sure if you guys saw this or not, but Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier kind of shared some words. Got me think of a great potential matchup for one of the next pay-per-views. I know both guys have lost to Oliveira, trying to want to redeem themselves. Thoughts on that?
Jake? No? Okay.
So
I'm a Michael Chandler guy, so I don't know. Dustin Poirier recently has just been doing stuff that's making him very unlikable, in my opinion. Throughout the entire McGregor stuff, you cheered for Poirier, and because McGregor was unlikable, but I think he's kind of taken that torch and is just being very unlikable, like Colby Covington. Even though I like Colby Covington's fighting ability and all of that, it's just I don't know. I think Michael Chandler would beat him anyway. So,
Early prediction. I like it.
what's your thoughts on it?
Oh, man. I'm kind of with you. I think Dustin Poirier's kind of realized how McGregor made his money. And is kind of like taking that torch and run with that a little bit. I think Mike Chandler probably wins the fight. I think it'll be close. But just watching Mike Chandler versus Gaethje, that guy's a straight dog. I think he wins the fight.
I agree. Jake, that's a guy you'll like to watch. He just stands there and takes the punches. He's giving the punches. Like somebody's gonna get knocked out in a fight with Michael Chandler.
You let me know when his next fight is, and I'll be sure to tune in for that one.
Absolutely.
We'll keep you up with it.
So, isn't it pretty common for guys to challenge each other in the kind of outside the octagon, though, during the fights? I've seen it happen before, at least.
Yeah, it's very common, actually.
Yeah.
I think even one time someone hopped out of the cage and tried to fight someone, right?
Yeah, that would be Zach's favorite, Khabib.
That would be Khabib. There's a lot of bad words said about the guy's family and jumped out of the cage, and I don't think they're saying those words anymore. So.
Yeah, I don't think I can blame him for doing what he did either.
So it works.
Yeah.
He ate a suspension.
I also heard that. So I also heard that you won a bet against Johnny Mason.
I did. He decided that he thought Max Holloway was going to win, and I don't know if he was doing it because he truly thought Max Holloway could beat Volk, or if he was just trying to make a wager with me because he knows how much I like Volk. But it was a pretty easy win, pretty convincing win for Volk on a 50-45 scorecard on all three judges. So I'll be getting a new hat. So you boys might have to help me pick out a nice expensive one that I'll have to get for me.
Yeah, we might have to maybe call him up next episode and give him some crap or something, and then tell him what hat you want.
Yep, I'm into it.
Debut the hat here on the pod.
Have you guys ever been to a UFC fight, like in person?
No. So Colin come over, and I actually saw Bubba yesterday as well. These are all guys in our fantasy football league, and we talked about how fun it would be for one of our fantasy league draft trips to kind of base that around a UFC fight, go to the town they're at, wherever, and everybody get tickets. That'd be super sick, I think.
That would be legit. I'm into that.
Would we make our draft order based on our picks in the fights?
Well,
I'm into that too.
you could, except for I don't know how you'd necessarily do that. You'd have to do kind of like a. Well,
Maybe
the
who gets
problem
most
is,
strikes or something.
you're only fighting between two guys, so you could say, okay, pick your winner in this, and everybody who picked the correct guy moves on to the next round and then gets to bet on the next fight, and you do that until there's one man standing.
Okay,
That's true.
I like it.
But we could do that throughout the year. So say for not this year's draft, but for next year's draft, you do all of the main card. You could do bets on all of the main card fights, and then do that same way. Like, okay, nope, you picked the wrong guy last time, so now next pay-per-view, you're out.
Even prelims or whatever, guys that people don't know, so I have a chance.
Well, yeah, that would give you a chance.
I mean, as long as I'm not out in the first 2 rounds, if I'm not the 9th or 10th pick in our draft, I'm good.
Sometimes I wonder if being the 9th or 10th pick is actually beneficial.
I've been there. It's not.
Well, I think, was it, Zach, was that where you were picking when you won the league?
It could have been.
I think I was at 7 the year I won.
Yeah, I think I was pretty deep that year.
I don't know if anybody who's ever had the number 1 pick has ever actually won the league that year.
I don't think so. It's usually right in the middle. Picks like 3 to 7 that usually win it. It's super hard, and after 7 to get a tier 1 guy.
Yeah, but then you're getting 2 of the top tier 2 guys.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, I don't want to make this about my draft strategy here. So
no, please do, Jake. Let us know.
Yeah,
Here's
this
who I'm
question's
gonna
only
pick.
for you guys, but I do like this year.
Yeah, out of these 3 guys,
Jesus.
that's gonna probably start happening once fantasy season rolls around, though.
Oh yeah, we'll start talking about that a little bit more coming up.
Yeah, we'll dive into it a little bit.
We'll also need to talk about kind of NFL predictions for the year beforehand. Get some crazy things said out there.
All right.
Yeah, make some more predictions and winners. This might be like a reoccurring thing where we're betting on my age, so maybe we can start making wagers on other stuff every couple weeks now.
Yep. So there's 2 podcasts out there that kind of do something similar. Obviously, the fantasy football podcast with Fieldy Yates and Matthew Berry, they do that write it on the board thing where they wager something and you write it on the board. And then I listen to this Vikings podcast, and they call it a section called Write That Down. So you make your prediction, they write it down, and then like when that either comes true or proves to be false, they bring it up and show like their batting average or their completion percentage, what they call, based on how many picks they get right or not. So that might be something interesting.
All right, I like it.
Yeah, we'll put like a gold frame around the person that like wins or something for that.
Yeah, yep.
A little award in the corner. That'd be pretty funny. We'll figure that out. We need something better than that, but
I don't know. Gold frame would make me feel pretty good.
Would it?
I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah. If I ever get that.
Have you guys ever been in a car accident?
Yeah,
not a major one though.
All right, go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, so those of you, I used to own a red Tacoma. That thing was my baby. Loved it. Driving it down here in Houston. Car was just kind of stalled on the road. No lights were on, and it was late. I hit them. They ran away. So it was kind of like a hit and run. My truck was totaled. it worked out because I got me a nice new truck now. But yeah, worst feeling of my life.
So was your car stalled?
No, so it was either like a stalled car. It's kind of blurry. I hit my head. I'll be honest with you. It's either like the car was stalled or like the car in front of me like rear-ended a car in front, and they both kind of stopped there. But yeah, it was kind of weird. I got out of the car, made sure everyone was okay, talked to the two people. They made sure I was okay, and then they just left. Um, and then police came, and yeah, they tried tracking him down, but nothing ever came of it.
So the guy that hit and ran on you hit
Mhm.
you from behind after you had hit the stalled car, or they pushed you into the stalled car? I
No,
know that you're fuzzy on it, so
yeah, no. I hit them, but they were like slammed on their brakes or stopped or did something where I didn't have enough time to react. This was on an interstate. We're going like 65, 70.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I had kind of a similar thing happen one time. I was driving out to DIA, the airport here in
Mhm.
Denver, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with what is it, Pena Boulevard
Mhm.
that goes right out there to the airport, and it kind of just loops to the airport and back around. But I was driving my parents out there one time in the winter because they were flying out to I think Chicago or Arizona or something. Um, and the roads had iced up, but it was so foggy I couldn't see anything, and it ended up turning into one of those like really like 100 car pileups on a highway there. But it was crazy because the cars must have been a couple 100 feet in front of me, and that's when I was like, oh man, we're gonna crash. And that's kind of a weird feeling to have, like where you think about crashing for like 20 seconds before you crash.
Yeah, oh yeah.
um, so I'm kind of trying to steer the car and trying to maneuver it around other cars that are stopped, clip the car on the right, and then we went all the way left onto like how they have the rail guards on the side of roads
Mhm.
because there's kind of
Mhm.
a ditch, pressed up against that, and then rammed straight into the back of another car. um, but I was mostly concerned about other cars coming from behind us and
Mhm.
hitting us and crushing, especially like a semi or something, because there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
um, but we ended up kind of lucking out, and we were like one of the last cars in that pile up. So we actually got unstuck and turned around. The car was still drivable. Uh, it was a Chevy Trailblazer. It was not really even that banged up. The passenger door kind of had trouble opening, but that was really about it. But I still got my parents to the airport on time after that, and didn't have to deal with police because it was a pile up. The insurance, they know it's a pile up, so
Mhm.
I was out of there pretty quick. Um, I remember driving home. I was like, I just want to go home, have a beer, and eat a pizza now. But that
Uh,
was a little traumatic.
Did you get whiplash or anything like that, Jake?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that high speed. It was probably like maybe 40 miles an hour. I was able to slow it down because, like I said, there was enough space where you could see the cars ahead of you, but it was so icy that you could not stop. It was like
mhm.
kind of like one of those um, bridge areas too. If you know bridges, they kind of freeze a little bit quicker because the
Oh
air
yeah.
blows on top and underneath. Um, so there's nothing you could do once you were on that.
Zach, you got whiplash, I'm sure, from yours, but you also got whiplash from just like a rear end and junction, correct?
The rear end injunction did give me whiplash. It just kind of shook me up, I think that was like my first real wreck I was into. So kind of shook me up. I remember, I think it was you driving by and you're waving at me, thinking I'm having a good time, and then you get a little further and you see there's a couple cars and a police car, and your face changed. Like,
Like, oh no.
I think you got whiplash from that reaction.
Yeah, no kidding. But you got whiplash in Houston when you had that wreck.
I did, yeah, concussed, pretty good. So
No like
yeah,
neck brace or anything like that though.
nah, no neck brace. While we're on the topic, if you get whiplash, wearing a neck brace is not recommended. So get rid of that as soon as possible. Um,
This guy's a
yeah,
doctor.
Yep, this is Dr. Beecham.
just trying to put that out there on the topic. But yeah, I remember hitting my head off the steering wheel. And then the rest is a little fuzzy.
There's
Was
a
anyone in the
future
car with
segment.
you? Was anyone in the car with you?
Yeah, my girlfriend, she was in the car with me. She was a little shaken up. No big injuries. She was just, nervous, scared from it. It was a big wreck, kind of totaled the truck. So, truck kept us both alive, though. We both walked away. When you go 70 to 0 that quick, gotta be pretty happy you walked away.
Yeah, I think that's all you can ask for with your cars. I mean, you don't want to die, but
I don't want to
not
die.
getting hurt is even better. So,
Absolutely.
So that's a future segment is some medical advice with Dr. Beecham, huh?
oh yeah,
Dude,
we should come up with all kinds of weird medical stuff just to ask him.
Just to ask.
Hey,
this
by
is
the way,
not my professional opinion. This
You
is
want to look at this real quick?
yeah. Hey guys, just shouting out, cultspod@gmail.com. Send Zach your weird questions.
it is not a professional advice. The advice does not represent my license. Just represents my thoughts.
Well,
Right
yeah,
now.
we're gonna have to
Listen
put
to
a
this
disclaimer
official
before the
guy.
segment.
Let me check with my lawyer before we start giving out free advice.
You're gonna charge for it? We're gonna have to get a Patreon set up for your medical advice.
Just for the
There
medical.
we go.
That's good stuff.
Yep.
Well, we're talking about that. Like, Mason, what's your expertise? We know Zach's the doctor.
I could. I don't have an expertise, I guess.
He's just a podcaster. That's all, folks.
Yeah. No.
Pro podcaster, I guess.
No, man, this guy, he knows his stuff.
Unless you got problems with your furnace working in your house. I mean,
Yeah. You know how many people have problems with their furnace?
yeah.
Dang near all of them.
Yep.
Hey, dude, this is Texas. Our energy's going to shut down here any day again. We're not going to have AC units.
Let's make everything electric. That'll handle it. Jesus. I'll go off on a rant if we start talking about that stuff, so best not.
We'll save that for next episode. We'll start.
You're going to need a full hour long for me to talk about the electrification.
First question.
Wonderful
Mason,
country.
what do you think about green energy?
Oh, shit.
Mostly when it comes to furnaces, though.
Well, so they're making it. I mean, this is weird that we're talking about this, but they're making it in Denver already. You can't build a new home and put gas into the home.
I heard that.
Yep.
You have to be grandfathered in, right?
Yep. Everything has to be electric on a new build in Denver.
Is that just to run less lines? That can't really be for that much safety.
It's for burning fuel, right? Like if you're burning natural gas, it's got CO and harmful to the environment, and so
I thought that put off very little.
I mean, it doesn't put off much, but they don't care. They're trying to get rid of it all. They're trying to make everything electrified.
Gotcha. Electric is like the universal thing, right? So you could still use natural gas to make electricity. It's just less efficient.
Well, yeah, but nobody wants to look that far into it. Like you
Right.
use coal to make electricity, but everybody's like, "Oh, we can't have coal."
See, man, when we lost power down here during the freeze 2 years ago, a year ago, whenever that was, one, I think we were like 3 days away from like serious looting. The panic was on the city's eyes for sure. But two, the only thing that I could eat from was my gas stove. I could turn that on. I could still boil water. I could still, heat up food. Sure, I couldn't watch TV or anything, but like I was fine. So like you cut that out, and let's say that freeze goes on a couple more days than anticipated. Now we're 5-6 days down the road, no electricity. Then what do you lean on?
Well, and they're moving every vehicle to electric too. So in California, there's times where they won't let you charge your car because there's so much AC. Everybody's running AC in their house, which is 220 volt. It's just stuff like that that's just frustrating that it doesn't seem like they're actually paying attention to stuff.
So is my boss going to accept that as my excuse, saying I couldn't charge my Tesla?
Yeah. Sorry, everybody was real hot and had to have AC.
Yeah, sorry, guy, can't go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
So we got the doctor, we got the HVAC guy. I'll be the computer guy for us then.
Yes, please, because
slash podcast producer.
you know I can't be the computer guy.
So we got all kinds of specialty questions that we can answer like professionals here. I think this is really what you need to be focused on, because we're going to solve the world's problems.
Do you remember growing up, your parents would get a new TV or something like that, and you'd have to do all the hookups and stuff, and they'd look at you like, oh my God, I can't believe he could figure all this out. And you were always like, yeah, I'm that old guy who can't figure it out anymore.
Red, white and the white.
Yeah, now I can't figure stuff out. They're like, hey, can you hook this up to Wi-Fi? And I'm like, yeah, oh yeah. And then I tried doing it, and
yeah,
I just
if I don't have guided prompts, I can't do it.
So
I mean, I'm professionally in this line of work, and sometimes it gets to me, and I'm like, I've messed with this for 2 minutes. I'm pissed off.
Yeah,
I'm stopping.
I'm over it.
Yeah, who cares? I don't need internet that bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, that's good stuff. I think we covered pretty much everything we wanted to today.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it was a good one.
So again, happy 4th of July to everybody listening. Send Zach your medical questions. Johnny will be calling you next week, talking shit about a hat that you're getting, Mason. And then I think we're going to be probably adding in some new segments soon. I don't want to spoil them yet.
Yep.
Zach came up with a good one last week. So look forward to that. Make sure you subscribe so you keep seeing those new episodes. And then if you rate, that really helps us out too. I think you can keep rating on Apple too. So just keep rating every day.
And I hope you guys enjoy your fireworks today. Not a drone show, your fireworks show.
Your fireworks.
I think that's what we need to end on. Yeah, just fireworks. We should just
be like Katy Perry, man.
Oh God, we should have ended this sooner.
Happy birthday, America.